There's a huge explosion on its way to theaters July 21st called Oppenheimer, and it's time to talk about it. Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Klepcx FM, brought to you by CritiX.com, a place where we talk about movies, television, and pop culture. And if you're into that kind of thing, make sure you hit that subscribe key and that notification bell so you can be up to speed about everything that I talk about here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have had the opportunity to see Christopher Nolan's latest event. That's right, it's an event titled Oppenheimer. That's right, based on a true story about the gentleman, Robert Oppenheimer, who created the atomic bomb for the U.S. Full disclosure, before we get into this, I had dropped my out of the theater reaction, and a lot of folks kind of misinterpreted what I was saying. I never said whether or not I liked the film or did not like the film, but I did, however, explain that this film felt lengthy. Yes, it does feel very, very lengthy. There are some moments that do drag, but there are a lot of moments that will pull you back in as you're going through this experience or through this ride. But without further ado, let's get into what did I think about Oppenheimer by Christopher Nolan, starring Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, and Florence Pugh. This film, literally, like, Christopher Nolan brings out everyone to play. Like, there are the best of the best in this film. Some great surprises. There are a lot of cameos. People you wouldn't have not even thought would just show up in this film. Had me scratching my head like, wow, I didn't even know that this certain person was even working anymore. But there are a lot of cameos in this thing, and that is like probably one of the best things about this film is that it constantly keeps you engaged by the amount of talent that you see in this film. My MVPs right now, I got to give it to Robert Downey Jr. Hats off to him. I got to give it to Matt Damon. Those two gentlemen really keep this thing they hold it together very, very well. And that's not taking anything from Cillian Murphy, but his character essentially plays a different kind of character in this. He's not really someone who's trying to grab the spotlight in this movie, but someone that you rather grab a moral compass from in this film, like through his facial expressions, his emotion in the movie, and the things that he's going through, the things that are happening around him, kind of keep you, engaged with the story just based off of what you see him go through, not so much of what he's doing on camera. Robert Downey Jr., dude, come on, anything he does, I love Robert Downey Jr. But Damon for me was really, really a standout character when he's on screen. So I really, really appreciate him. But I'm not gonna pretend that everyone doesn't bring their A game, because honestly, realistically, everyone that plays a part in this film deserves some sort of a nod, whether it's award or recognition for what they bring to this incredible story. Emily Blunt, let's talk about her for a second, because for most of the movie, you don't really get much, but there was this one particular moment that I'm not going to spoil it for you, but like, I remember vividly because it was during one of those slow moments that I was talking about where you really feel the movie. And her performance just kind of got me to rise right up because she pulled you in immediately with her performance in this film. Like, the performances are great in this movie. Now, talking about the length of this film, and I promise you all, I listen, I stand on this. You are going to feel the length of this movie. I'm telling you right now, it plays very long. It's drawn out, and it's not saying that it's not done well, because the story is done well, but you will in fact feel the length of this movie. Now, talking about the story, for me, my opinion, this really, like, Christopher Nolan really brings it back to his Memento type of vibe, where it's like really like a kaleidoscope of series of storytelling, where you get a little bit of something over here. It's all done in montage, but the score is amazing, and what keeps this thing kind of gelled, and what keeps you like engaged, because something's always happening. It's never like a dull moment where you don't want to pay attention. It's more of a dull moment, like it's like, all right, this thing needs to kind of hurry up and get to the point. And the kaleidoscope of it all and how the story is told is what kind of pulls me out of it. It's not my thing. It's not really my cup of tea. I like more of a linear story to be told, in the way, where I can just kind of follow from day one and go forth. But this thing kind of takes place. It's following two specific periods in not only Oppenheimer's life, but in Robert Downey Jr.'s character's life, and how they kind of somewhat collide and gel at the end, which tends to wrap up really well. It wraps up really well, but the overall twist and the overall moment of truth that happens at the end, I gotta tell you, I didn't really know I was supposed to care that is what happened. And that's part of the problem with the storytelling for me. When you're paying attention to so many different things that are happening, I didn't really grasp. I don't want to say you don't. I didn't really grasp what part of the story I was supposed to be holding on to get to that ending and say, okay, because by the time it happened, I was kind of already spent and kind of like, oh, okay, or whatever. Like it didn't really grab me like that. I just went along for the ride, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Now I see where it was going, but it didn't really like, oh, like it didn't. I didn't do that. But that's not saying that the film isn't done well. Christopher Nolan is a boss at what he does. Visually, it's beautiful. Each intricate kaleidoscope of a story looks brilliant. It's done very well. It's just the way that the story is being told for me that I just didn't grasp and that I just didn't hold on to, which had me walking out of that theater very spent. Florence Pugh, such a goddess. She's like my celebrity crush on the low. I really like seeing her. She goes in places I never thought I would see her go on camera. A lot of people were asking me about the scenes with her, but I'm not going to give you guys any of that. You got to see it for yourself. You're not going to believe it. But she outside of that, she really brings some great emotion to this movie and playing. I'm not going to tell you she plays, but her relationship in this thing with Oppenheimer is like, wow, wow. Shout out to Nolan for getting all these people to come together to do this thing, because it is a masterpiece in its own right. It's just not a masterpiece that I stand by as something that I would run back to see right away. To me, it probably wouldn't be my favorite Nolan movie, but it's executed very well. Very lengthy. Remember I said that it's very long and could or could not sway you to maybe fall asleep or probably back out, but I'm telling you right now, you're going to feel the length. The story, linear, not so linear. It does its own thing the way Nolan does his thing. But overall, I think everyone will probably check this thing and should check this thing out. I think everyone should check this thing out. See it in the IMAX, in the biggest screen you can see, because there are a lot of visual moments in this thing that you just have to see on a giant screen. Again, guys, that's my overall full review for Oppenheimer. Not so vague like my out of the theater reaction. I was trying to hold on to some things so that I could process everything that I said, because the dialogue in this is deep, it's lengthy, and you want to go into this thing ready to watch something that's going to have your mind going, yeah, so you can follow along. Overall, I enjoyed it, but I walked out of there overly exhausted. I want to know if you guys are super excited to still see this movie. Have you already seen this movie? Do I not know what I'm talking about? I'm cool. If we don't always have to agree, like, comment, share. Make sure you subscribe. And for more movie news, television news, and pop culture, check out wearecritics.com. And I will talk to you all later. Peace.